Should I say that these images are kind of the heavy metal, even doom metal in silent form? Hi everyone. Today I'm getting very brave. I am returning to Nine Inch Nails. And those of you who have seen my first exposure to Nine Inch Nails, you will remember how much of a shocker it was and my reaction. If you haven't seen it, check out the link here. This weekend, I am focusing on a song which I understand was written by Nine Inch Nails, and I'm going to listen to Nine Inch Nails' version, and that is Hurt. I understand this song received a Grammy Award nomination for Best Rock Song in 1996. So I'm giving it a fair chance, and I'm going to spend some time with it this weekend. I'm very curious to see what my impressions are, especially coming back after my first experience with the band.
Hold myself to see if I still feel. I focus on pain.
Ooh, that's some real dissonance. I've got to back up and hear that. Listen to the guitar when he sings that note.
The only thing that's real.
Let's hear that again. That's good. Ah, that note. So painful.
That's real. The needle tears a hole. The old familiar state. Try to
There it is again.
kill it all away, but I remember everything.
Wow. The dissonance that they put into this.
What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end.
Okay. I'm not through the entire piece yet. I don't want to speak too soon. But let's just say this is getting off to a much better start than the first time I listened to them with Closer. Right. What am I loving about this? I love the way this guitar is expressing what is being sung. This incredibly dissonant note, dong, it doesn't have to be played loud at all. It's very gentle, and there's this wonderful warmth in the voice, which gives it a feeling of very personal. It's a very intimate opening to the piece. It's interesting to hear this warmth in the voice and see the cold blue on the screen, the lighting here. But I'm not really focusing on that so much as I'm enjoying this interplay between the voice and this guitar, which is very spare. It reminds me of something like, say, desert scenery. I'm thinking of, I don't know, let's just say New Mexico or something like that, where the landscape is spare and barren, and the colors are clean and clear. There's an austerity to it. Because of the warmth of his voice, this doesn't have this feeling of austerity, but at the same time, the guitar is bringing that element in for us. The guitar is giving us this very minimal harmonic outline, which is all we need to hear the incredible pain when he strikes that one note. It's such a wonderful musical moment in the piece. Every time he strikes that note. And it happens when, right after the word sting, right after some of these words that are, or the word pain, sting, we hear it there in that moment after that word as a sort of musical embodiment of what that word is saying to us. In fact, I want to back up and look at what's really happening here. See if I can show you on the harp what I'm hearing in the music. So if we back up to, let's try this here. I think this is.
Focus on the pain.
Dum, bum, bum, dum, bum, dum, 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 bum, bum. Let's listen once more, make sure we've got this right.
Focus on the pain.
Something like that. So this is the melody. And he ends up here on the word pain. It's an E.
Focus on the pain.
It sounds like he's going for a chord that has maybe an E chord. We could say maybe he's going for an E chord there. Something like that. It's the end of a phrase. It's a kind of semi-cadential point. And what's happening then is our entire expectation of what the harmony is going to be gets completely upset by what the guitar plays afterwards. This is where it gets really amazing.
Focus on the pain. The only thing.
And the guitar plays its chord and lands on this F. Well, that's not a grand difference in its own. A G7 chord, something like that. But what's so powerful about it is that we just arrived vocally on this E. And before that, when we were hearing this phrase, we passed through this F sharp. It sounded F sharp. And so we have a sort of oral memory of this note as we arrive here. Focus on the pain. And so those are the two sounds in our ears. Coming from here, arriving here. And then the guitar comes in and says, wait a minute. That's so out of place. That is so not what we were listening to. It's the F natural without the sharp at all. In fact, you can hear him kind of pass through this with his voice, I think. He kind of hints at it in his voice because he slides.
Focus on the pain.
But when the guitar comes there and says, oh yes, actually, this is the note of pain. That is the musical expression of pain, that incredible clash between these two notes. You hear when I play them together, they're so uncomfortable. It's as if they just can't be at peace beside each other. And if we listen through, at least what I've heard so far, that is the guitar's commentary at each of these points.
The only thing that's real.
Bum, there it is
The
again.
needle tears a hole.
Bum, there it
The
is.
unfamiliar state. Try to kill
Do you hear it?
it all away. But I remember everything.
And then here comes this. We have piano, we have the pulsing bass, we have this very, again, warm orchestral sound. It makes me think of I don't know, let's say maybe a Beethoven slow movement in a symphony. This almost funereal solemnity about it, but warm still.
Everything.
Clashing harmonies there. Back to our home chord. There it clashes a bit. Still on edge. And resolving here. The crowd's getting into it.
My sweetest friend, everyone I know goes away in the end.
Yes, and this is where I paused, because the first time around, because what he did here melodically was really good to tie what he's been singing. Da, da, dum, ba, bum, dun, da, 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 dum. There's this dum, bum, 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 this rising up, dum, bum, 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 ending on a higher pitch there. Now, dum, bum, bum, he dives down and he lands us on a lower note, which ties us into all that bass range sound which has been growing and supporting this. Now suddenly his voice is linked to that.
Everyone I know goes away in the end.
And tying it down there. But right after that, we hear the piano up higher.
My empire of dirt, I will let you down. I will make you hurt.
And this is interesting because I'm watching a live performance. And unlike a lot of live performances that I've seen, where it's about the lighting and the various smoke effects and whatnot, here they have actually a screen behind them, which is putting images up which seem to illustrate and enhance more of what is being sung about. And I feel like it adds a whole lot of potency. It makes the whole song much more concentrated. And as I'm thinking about the music, the understated approach musically to expressing what is being dealt with here. This is kind of a, should I say that these images are kind of the heavy metal, even doom metal in silent form? Meaning, what I hear when I've listened to a doom metal or a heavy metal piece of music trying to convey sonically is here being conveyed incredibly eloquently, simply with silent visual imagery behind the musical presentation. And I appreciate that. As I've said many times, and I'm sure I will say it many times in the future as well, we underestimate the power of understatement. If we don't blow ourselves to the max with volume and sound and instrument and harshness and everything else, yes, okay, I'll grant there's a time and place for it. But when we want to send an incredibly powerful message, many times it is better to err on the side of conservatism, because then there is the power of the unspoken, the what is present but not said, what exists and is heard without being voiced, both volume-wise and message-wise. And this, I think, is one of the incredible strengths of this piece of music that I am discovering here. And that is that it's not trying to just, shall I say, vomit it all out in front of us. Instead, it is using only what's needed to take our mind there and get us to understand exactly what is happening. And not only our mind, but our emotions as well. That is the power of that single dissonant note in the guitar. That is the intensity and the potency of the very mild volume of the guitar. That is the strength of this warm voice and orchestral sound. And that is the incredible volume of this silent screen behind them. It's all working so well together. And it makes me hurt. It makes me feel the pain powerfully. And that is, well, that's the goal for this piece, isn't it? I will make you hurt. There's that note.
I'll wear this crown of shit upon my liar's chair.
And rather than screaming, he's barely singing at all. It's almost as if he has no voice. It's a whisper.
Beneath the stains of time.
And you hear it growing just a little bit. The pacing and the control of the volume.
You are someone else. I am still right here.
And here comes the orchestra.
My sweetest friend, everyone I know goes away in the end.
Don't see the bombs dropping, and just as it explodes,
goes away in the end. And you could have it all. My empire will die. I will
but even the
let
drumming
you
is
down.
conservative, isn't it?
I will make you hurt. If I could start again, a million miles away,
And here it's growing again, it's growing again, it's growing again.
myself, I would find a way.
What an incredibly powerful piece of music. But more than that, an incredibly powerful performance. And I guess I am perhaps even more impressed than I would be simply because I am remembering my first exposure to this band. And, well, as I've said many times, never judge a band, a singer, a musician, a composer, an artist on one work, even two or a handful, because if they are a real artist, if they really have something to say, they will have far more to say than can fit into one piece of music. And even the great ones had their artworks that were not so great. There is plenty of Mozart and Beethoven that we don't listen to very often at all, simply because, okay, fine, it's disposable. That doesn't diminish the incredible stature of what has endured. And this is such a good example of why we should check again and check again. And that is exactly why I came back to this band after I'd given myself plenty of time to breathe and let the first experience dissipate. I was ready to say, all right, today I'm going to be brave. Let's do this. And I am so glad that I did. This is a piece which speaks eloquently. More than eloquence in the intellectual sense of the term, it's eloquence emotionally as well. And what it says is something that we should all listen to and understand. Many of us can relate to it personally, but everybody should understand and experience as close as possible through this music what is being expressed here, because it will help you understand others who hurt, and it will help you build a place of empathy in your own self, for others and for yourself. And it's an incredible artistic expression of this kind of pain as well. So, that is my second exposure to Nine Inch Nails. Far more, I guess, I won't say more memorable. The first one was certainly memorable. Far more positive. Even though it's about hurt. And tomorrow, I will listen to another artist, I don't know who, tackle this same song. And now I am aching to find out, did they do such a good job with it? We'll see. I'll see you then.